Okay, welcome to all of you around the world who are joining us. We're delighted that this is the 11th online speaking event since April that we've developed in response to our all being stuck at home during COVID-19. This is one of the silver linings of this terrible pandemic. Kulanu, as you know, supports isolated, emerging, and returning Jewish communities around the world. I just wanted to mention that this session, though it's the 11th in the series, we're doing slightly differently because Yehuda has prepared these wonderful videos, and we'll be alternating between showing a video and having short Q&A, and then showing the next video and some more Q&A. I want to show a short video to introduce Kulanu for those who are new. And I hope the rest of you who've seen it before will enjoy seeing it again.
Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai, Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu.
Great, and now I'd like to ask Molly to show us this slide of the sponsors who've supported today's event. Is there one? So we want to thank Lily Kaufman, Gail Hammerman, and Rabbi Gerald and Bonita Nathan Sussman for sponsoring this event. And it's not too late if you'd like to become a sponsor of this or any of the future events. It's one way of honoring our wonderful speakers. Thank you very, very much. Okay, so, now we're having a quick poll about how you learned about this event. Another fun tool of Zoom. You'll see it on your screen. And when we're done, Molly, you're going to share the results?
Sure. Right now we have 85% of people learning from Kulanu email, followed by our social media at 9%, and then friends and family letting people know at 7%. So, great. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to continue then. Okay, so to introduce our speaker, we have Justin Phillips. Justin Phillips lives in Israel, but is best known for his tenure as a district judge in the drug intervention program in West London in the UK, where he presided over the country's first dedicated drugs court. His work is credited with a reduction in crime, in addition to impressive rates of clients remaining drug-free. His interests, when he retired from that work, he moved to Israel and his interests include Judaic studies and classical music. And I know he's very much involved with the conservative yeshiva. He is a longtime supporter and friend of Yehuda Kimani. Unfortunately, Justin was unable to join us live today for this session, but he sent in this video introduction.
In 2016, I was taking a course in Jewish communities on the periphery. And when we came to Kenya, I thought I knew everything because I've been to Nairobi several times and had often gone to the community in Nairobi. What I didn't know was there was a black Jewish community about 100 miles north of Nairobi. And I learnt about it and found out the name of the leader of the community was Yehuda Kimani. And we became friends on Facebook. And for 3 months we chatted on Facebook. And then I asked him, have you ever been to Israel? And he said no. And I invited him to come here to study and to tour the country. And he was given a visa at the Nairobi embassy, signed by the Israeli ambassador, which was cancelled on his arrival at the airport here. He was held incommunicado, refused permission to speak to me, his sponsor at the airport, and deported. And various lies was told by the Ministry of the Interior as to why the visa had been cancelled. And I appeared before the Knesset Immigration Committee, and there a manager from the Ministry of the Interior blurted out, do you want half Africa here? And then we knew for sure that this was racism. And I was ashamed, and I'm ashamed now, that my adopted country was betraying all that Zionism stands for. And I knew he wouldn't get an apology from the government, so I flew to Kenya. I apologized to him, and I realized he is passionate in building his community. He's one of the kindest and sincerest people I've ever met. And there's a chemistry between us because he's passionate in his belief in Judaism. And he often joins our online Shachrit Minyan because our synagogue is closed and has been for 6 months because of Corona. And he's passionate in his support for Israel, despite our government's behavior towards him. I consider it a privilege to call Yehuda my brother and my friend and to introduce him to you.
Great.
We're inviting Yehuda to say a few words and then we'll show the next video. Is that how it's working, Molly?
Correct.
So Yehuda, are you there? All right, is he unmuted? Yes. You go ahead, Yehuda.
Okay, thank you so much, and shalom to all my friends, and thank you for seeing all of you, the beautiful faces. Thank you for taking your time to come online and listen about the Jewish community in Kenya. I'm Yehuda Kimani, one of the reader in my congregation in Kenya. My congregation is about 200 people, children and adults, and we are happy to be Jewish. We found Jewish to be one of the unique things we ever known in this world. So we say Baruch Hashem to have known one of the best thing in this world. So The journey of Kehillat Israel, Kenya, started with the Nairobi Hebrew congregation, one of the European congregation in Nairobi, where we met friends who gave us books how to study Judaism, and is out of that is where we got the knowledge to be a Jew. In 1999, one of the ambassador who was living in Kenya and a rabbi who traveled from Israel came to our former church, the Messianic Church, who believed that they were Jewish, and they called them to be a Jew in Kenya. So the rabbi and the ambassador traveled all the way from Nairobi up to the north in Kenya, 300 miles, to find those Jews who are black. But when they came to the church, they found out that this was not actually a Jewish territory, but they loved Jewish and they could practice to be a Jew. They could have a Shabbat. We had a Sukkot, but it was not actually the way of Judaism. So it's when the rabbi did some interview with some of the church leaders who were available. And after that, they found out that the church was only interested with the Jewish people, but they were not actually Jewish. So it happened that my father and few other elders who are Jewish today, they decided to search who is a Jew. And after that, we went on to follow to the Nairobi Hebrew congregation in Nairobi. And that is when they told them, the first thing you can do, we will provide some books for you to read. So it happened, they gave them one book called To Be a Jew and another book called Grow Through Torah. So those two books, my parents and other readers in my community today went on to struggle to study who is a Jew. The knowledge of Judaism started pouring in their minds and searching, how can we become Jewish? How can we be part of Eretz Israel? This happened after many years struggling and searching. Nobody would respond to our call of converting to be a Jew. After getting the books, the story behind it was the book was given for only 2 weeks and you could return them to the library. So what happened is we photocopied the books because we could not manage to read the books in time. And so we kept the copies in our house. So when we returned the book, we already had the copies. We went on studying the books, and it came that there is a group in Uganda, the Abayudaya community. When they heard there is a small group of African Jews in Kenya, they came all the way from Uganda to Kenya to search for us because they had already connected with the other Jewish world in America, in Israel, in Europe, everywhere. So when Rabbi Gershom came to our community, he came to search, asking, how did you know? How did you get the idea? How to be a Jew? We told them through the Nairobi Hebrew congregation, we were able to achieve the knowledge and the ideas to be a Jew. So after that, some of us, we are very young, and we had to travel to Uganda to search for education. We joined already, started school by Kulanu, which was in Uganda. So we enrolled for studies there. we studied, and after that, we came back to Kenya to start our own community with international connection. So in 2013 is when I met Harriet, and she provided me with a computer and internet fee. And I was living in Nairobi. I had to travel from Nairobi to come back to my village. And that's how our community started connecting with the other Jewish world. So we thank God for this far. Right now we have friends who are coming in, and we have like about 25 members who are converted. This is after the connection with the Abba Yudaya and the Bet Din coming from US and converting some of our members. So it is still in our hopes that in the near future, we'll be able to convert more people, and we'll continue to educate our people on how to be Jewish, and we'll finally have more people converted. In this very way, we have been able to connect with other Jewish world. We have our friends in Maine. I can see my friend Abby. I can see very many people. I can see my American dad, Alan. That's how all it started. That's how it all started. And I was very happy with all of you for hosting me and accepting me to be a Jew from a small country where no many Jews. So we appreciate you, and I welcome you to ask me as many questions possible, because I have answers for you. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.
Wonderful. So we're going to start by sharing a quick overview video of the community in Kenya.
Should we go to the next video, Molly?
Sure. Well, we have two questions that have come in so far. So just one question is, where is your village?
The village is located around Mount Kenya region, 300 kilometers or miles from Nairobi. It is called Kasuku.
Very nice. And I have one more question about what is it about Judaism that appealed to you and your community to pursue Judaism and convert in spite of many obstacles?
We have been struggling for many years, despite any obstacle that comes along. We try to fight because we believe in Hashem, and we believe everything is possible with Him. And so because we embrace Judaism, there is no mountain for us.
Beautiful. Great. So now we're going to share the video about the synagogue. Do you want to share a little bit about that first and then share the video? Or do video
You want
first?
to tell us about the synagogue a little bit?
We have a small synagogue, which is very beautiful. We start building this in 2017 through one of the friends I met in US, who is very grateful for the work done. And it holds about 100 to 140 people, and it was initially built as a library because it was dedicated for his father, who was a lecturer. So she decided we should do it as a library, but we are using it as a synagogue right now because we did not have a synagogue. But when we have a synagogue, we'll take it back to its normal use as a library. So it's where our community gathers for all the high holidays, all the Shabbat services, or our meeting. That's where we meet. And we welcome you all when you're in Kenya. Thank you. And now outside the Kehillat, the synagogue, but it was first built as a library, but we are using it as a synagogue also. But when we build the synagogue, it will be back to serve as a library. So inside here is where the community pray in, and we have a lot of things, and people always have their services, Shabbat, high holidays, all the time, apart from now that we don't have services or general services. And now we have, this is our Alon HaKodesh, this is the Ark, and we have a small Torah inside here, as you can see inside there, waiting to get a big Torah. And now you can see all that beautiful windows, and those are the Shabbat candles holders. And as you can see, it's well designed with the symbol of Judaism, that is Magen David. And now this is where people sit during the service. And also you can see we have electricity, and the place is growing slowly. So we appreciate those who support us, and we continue to search best on how we can connect with the other Jewish world, and we become one. Thank you so much. May God bless you, and Shana Tova.
And now we're getting ready for the second video on the guest house. Give us a few words about the guest house.
Our guest house is a small rented apartment that we host our guests who are traveling in Kenya, and we keep them there. The reason why is because we don't have a guest house built in our community, and we found many of our guests who want to be with us for Shabbat services or high holidays, or just want to be here for a day or a few hours, don't have a place to sit or to sleep in. So we decided to find a place, hire an apartment with a running water, electricity, and good beds, so we could keep our guests, they can sleep in, they can go for Shabbat from there, and it can serve all the purpose. Besides that, we don't have one in the community. but the guest house is located just slightly, the allowed walking distance from maybe the synagogue to the guest house. On Shabbat, you can walk comfortably and you can keep the Shabbat without violating the Shabbat laws. Yeah.
So, welcome to Kehillat Guest House. So this is where we host our friends who are traveling in Kenya. So it's a small guest house, but he's helping us to keep everyone who visits us. And we have a refrigerator here, and this is a sitting area where people who want to discuss issue or light something, they come and sit here and relax. And also we have a place here where people eat from. And going this way, there is a toilet here, this way. That's a toilet. And there is some more rooms this way. There is a place here, there is a sink to wash your hands in case you want to wash your hands from the toilet. After the toilet, you come to the sink, you can wash your hands, you can brush your teeth from there. And also we have this way, we are going to see just one of the rooms, how the rooms look like. They all look the same, so we are just going to see one of it. So this is a room now. This is our room. This is where the guests live in when they visit, and we always keep them clean so that our guests feel comfortable. So you are all welcome in time to visit us, and you'll have a good time.
So are there, Molly, are you going to ask the questions that are there so far?
Yes. So how has the COVID pandemic affected the community in Kenya at large, as well as the Jewish community?
It has been a very rough time here in Kenya since a lot of things got disorganized. A lot of people lost their normal jobs. I can talk on behalf of myself first, saying that we were working on tourism. I work as a tour guide in Kenya, and when the pandemic started, all the guests could not come to Kenya. So it affected a lot of jobs to many people like me and many others, to many people who are in the village who depended on the people who are working on offices to give them job in their homes. So when they left the jobs in the cities to come to their homes, they also did not want other people who they employed in their homes. So the poor people suffered most, but at least the economy of Kenya have been so much spoiled. No one has a job, apart from now that the schools are not yet resumed. We don't have people, we have people who are still not back to work. And it has been so much suffering and starvation where people don't have food. And only best people from outside the countries or friends who donated or who tried to donate to our communities, that is the only way we manage to survive and give those who are less fortunate to have food in their on their tables. So it has been too bad and horrible for those who lost their jobs, no work, no food. Actually, some families would go without food. Maybe parents would not eat and they only give to the young children. Other homes, no food at all. Maybe other families went to other families to search for food. Other people lost their life only because of hunger. But we thank God we are still alive, and for the connection of other Jewish world and friends from US and all over who are helping, we have managed to have something for families who are suffering. So it has not been good. It has not been so okay for many families.
Thank you. And we have a few questions about your community, how your community is it respected with other Kenyans, or do you live with other religions live in the same area as you do? How does that work out?
I can say at the moment, our community is standing a chance of a good respect. But before that, we had a very big challenge because when we just parted with the other Christian church and we started to practice Judaism or to search about who is a Jew, very many people isolated us because of a reason that we isolated, saying we are not Christians, we don't worship Jesus, we don't worship Yeshua. And so it was very hard to cope up with other Christian or Muslims because they really trusted that we have left the God and we don't serve the God. Because they say, if you don't have Jesus, then you are not a good believer. But we told them we believe in one God. Much as we did not know much about how to be a Jew, but we trusted that we are going to make it. So it was a challenge, but right now we have a good Christians around us, we have Muslims around us, but we all respect each other. We have been working together. Actually, the work we are doing of building the community here, we hire people from different faith. Christians are coming to our Jewish community to build when we have a project to do. So that connection have brought us together and we are living as one.
Great. That sounds like a good segue to our next video about the social hall and kitchen. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that? And then we'll watch the video and do some more questions. So tell us about the social hall and kitchen.
So, yeah, good, thank you. So the social hall we are building, it's well designed to hold over 400 people. And as I said before, it's going to serve not only the Jewish people. The reason why it's going to be only the first social hall in our village. So it's going to be serving as a meeting place for many believers. We are going to use it as a place to host bar mitzvahs, Pesach Seder. We are going to have wedding parties there. We are going to also hold all the people who want to meet there. And also it's going to be one of the community income where people are going to be hiring the social hall to have their functions. So it is one of the biggest projects we are doing, and it's not yet complete. We are still struggling to finish it. And we can, as we can see from the video coming, we are going to ask the questions on how we can help each other, or maybe how we can help to complete it. Thank you so much.
Hello, friends. This is in Kehillat Kasuku Jewish community in Kenya. Welcome to our tour. And this is the social hall. This social hall we are building right now. It is designed to take 400 people, and it has
kosher kitchen inside, and we also have a storage area. So let's see how it looks inside. This is how it looks inside. We have the roof already on, and this is where people will be sitting. And you can see those are the windows. And this way, this is the door going to the kitchen. This way. So inside here, this way is the kitchen. So we have a very big kitchen here, designed to take or to accommodate about 25 people. So there is a good space that many people will be cooking inside. We can have ovens for making halal, where other people are making food maybe for Shabbat or other holidays. And this is an emergency door that goes out, and that is a small window, and we have ventilation up there. And you can see it's beautiful up there. There is a roof, and also we are going to have to add on you are going to add on another and here this way it is a storage area. As you can see, we have a big storage area where we'll be keeping food, all the other stuffs, and this way is behind it. So this is the behind side of it, and we still pretty have big space to build our guest house in future and many others. So thank you so much. As you can see, we have a big social hall where we are going to be showing movies. We are going to be holding bar mitzvah. We are going to be holding wedding parties inside here. We are going to do every occasion. It's going to happen here. We are going to hold seder and everything. So because we still need some more funds to finish this social hall, we are still looking for donors and any other families or communities that would want to support this project to get finished. As you can see, we need to do the inside finishing, we need to put furnishing, we need to put all the utensils, things like that. So this is the main entrance. So we appreciate whoever can come up and want to support us. Thank you so much, and I look forward to working with anybody who is willing to complete with us or finish this great special work together with us. Thank you so much. Shalom from Kehillat Israel, Kenya.
I just want to remind everyone that if you want to ask questions, you write them in the chat. If you're new to Zoom, you wiggle your mouse and the word chat appears on the bottom of your screen. And then at the bottom of there's a chat panel, and at the bottom it says to everyone, and you type under that. Molly, do you want to ask questions?
Sure. We have a few more questions that have come in. There's been questions about food, about kosher meat and chicken, as well as about gardening, sustainable gardening being an option. So can you tell us a little bit more about how your community gets food?
Okay, so right now in Kenya, we don't have a kosher food. We don't have a kosher chicken or beef or anything. But as our community grow and we are educating more youths and adults, so we are soon going to have a showcase who will be doing that for the community. But as for now, even for the guests who are coming from different parts of the world and want kosher food, we order them from our friends in a Nairobi Hebrew congregation, and they always have kosher food. But for now, we don't provide ourselves kosher food. And if we want to eat only, we have my brother who is in Uganda and have been working with Rabbi Gershom, and he's trying to learn how to be a shocket, and we are soon going to send someone who is going to be a shocket in the community. So in the near future, we'll have kosher food in the community. For the keeping the kitchen kosher, even when we hire other people who are not Jewish to our social hall, we are going to have always a member of the congregation who is watching over to make sure that our utensils, our saucepans are not tampered with anything that is not kosher. So that's how we are planning to be holding our social hall and kosher kitchen.
Great. And do you do any gardening? Is there sustainable gardening that's happening? Currently, any agriculture projects in the community in Kenya? Any gardening, sustainable gardening projects?
No, we actually have friends. We actually have friends who are very good friends to our community, who are individual friends. Like I have my friend Abby, who I work with sometimes on some issues. I have all friends who are coming in, individuals. Like I said, we built a library through one friend who I met in US, and we are able to do the whole project with her. So such friends are coming in slowly, and through that is how our community is growing.
Wonderful. So can you tell us a little bit about in the community when young people are getting married? Are they marrying people that are also Jewish, or how is that working?
As a growing community, we do not have a balance in the community of girls and boys, but the parents who had very many boys and many girls, the example I have is that in Uganda, like my sister personally, who is from Kenya, married to another Jew who is in Uganda. So they could organize groups where youth could meet, maybe in Uganda, or they could visit Kenya, and that's how we are doing. But it's still very big challenge because we have very many boys who don't have girls, and we are still encouraging them that it is okay, it's good to be a Jew, and it's good to also to find a religious girl who you are going to marry. So it's still a challenge that we need to tackle, and we hope that with all the guidelines we have, with online studies, with the rabbis we have, with other advices we get, we are going to manage the situation.
Great. So I have a few people asking again about the gardening. They want to know if there are any farmers in the community or if anyone grows their own vegetables.
Basically, our community is based on farming. Many people are farmers. So they grow their own food. They do business with trading food, like transporting them from the village to towns. They have cows. And so that is how our community is. So everyone is a farmer here, beside those who are working in the office. And we have very few who are working outside there. So we do grow all kinds of vegetables. We have maize, we have everything. We have Irish potatoes, things like that.
Wonderful, thank you. So there's another question about what would you like to see your relationship be with Israel, and if you have any relationship with the Israeli embassy in Nairobi.
It is very good, and every Jew heart belongs to Israel. And Israel is our home. We believe that. We don't want to say in any way, beside, like Justin said when he was doing the introduction, I was called to go to Israel, but many things came up. I reached the airport, I dropped there, but the reason why I was going there, I was going to the yeshiva to study, and I had all the funds, I had everything needed, but I was not able to attend because I was deported back to Kenya. I want to say that this does not stop us from believing that Israeli or Israel is home for all of us Jews. We still love Israel. Our connection is too close with Israel. And we always say that even the last day, we still, even when we go to die, we still believe in Israel. And Israel is the home for all of us Jews. So everyone here loves Israel.
Great. And is there a relationship between your community and the Israeli embassy in Nairobi?
No connection. We are only friends. We have individual friend who is there, but not official friend. So there is no connection between our community and Israel embassy.
Thank you. I have another question about how disabilities are addressed in the community. So they're wondering about people that have different disabilities, if there's anything that's done specifically for them, as well as any medical issues. Is there like a place for women to give birth? Is a midwife or a hospital? Kind of more about what it's like to live in your community.
Many people in my community depends with the small government dispensaries that are built around the villages, which if, for example, a woman is having a complication during the birth, she's first lashed there and will be admitted. And if it doesn't happen, she gets help there, she will be taken to the national hospitals where they always need to have money to pay there. So you'll find it is also still very hard for community, because only if you have money to attend a better hospital, that is where you can get the best healthcare. But without that, you always be forced to remain to your ground because you don't have enough money to go to another level. So the free government hospitals provided in our area don't do everything. So that's how the situation is here.
Very good, thank you.
I want to ask the question again about disabilities. Are there people who have difficulty walking or talking or seeing? And if so, can they live in your community and what happens to them?
Yes, we do have people with disabilities. We have blind people. We have people who don't have legs, maybe because of one situation or the other, or the causes of different things. But people live, you see, in every situation, they have to survive. So they live with other people. If someone don't have eyes and don't have a job, so is forced to live with either relatives or will live with other family members or will live alone and people maybe help. But it's still that we don't have a special healthcare for people living with disabilities.
Thank you.
Can they get to your synagogue? I mean, is it hilly and rocky, or can people get around?
Yeah, they do. So you'll find that, okay, people tend to be lovely to each other because, like, we have two people in our community who comes in, one don't have eyes and is lame, and another one is completely paralyzed. So these people, we welcome them, we'll carry them to the synagogue, they will have services, and then we'll carry them back to their homes. So that's how we do.
Thank you. And we'll do one last question. Can you tell us more about the tour that you're waiting for? We saw the little Torah that you have now, and you're waiting for a large Torah. Can you tell us about that?
We have a very small Torah that I actually purchased the Torah from Israel through eBay after one of my friend asked me, would you like to buy one of the small Torah and you can be practicing with it in the community? I said yes. And I went to eBay, I bought one from Israel, and it's what we have been using and practicing throughout our times for Shabbat or high holidays, things like that. Through good luck, one of the community in Boston that was closing up messaged me and say, Yehuda, we have a Torah that we want to give away. And thank you to Kuranu for sponsoring me in 2016. When I went to BCI, is when I found one of the rabbi there, is one who did the connection and said, Yehuda, I met you in BCI. Yes. There is a Torah that is looking for a home to stay. And I say, yes, you can bring it to Kenya. So it has been all these great things around us, but with this pandemic, we were not able to receive it this June, and we hope, God willing, we'll receive it in next year, June. So that's how it is.
Great. Thank you.
I just, several people, or at least one person has asked whether the community would like rabbis to come visit, or other people, or other teachers. And I know the answer is yes, and I invite you to contact either Yehuda directly or Kulanu to begin to have those conversations. But right now, of course, because of COVID-19, it's not realistic. But when travel is realistic again, we're happy to work with people to help make plans. We also have a wonderful page. Molly, can you enter the link? We have a page on visiting the community on our Kenya page on the website. Is it just called kulanu.org/visit Kenya, visit-Kenya, I think so, which gives you just practical information about visiting. Okay, have we finished the questions? And we're just at 2 o'clock, perfect. So before we say goodbye, I want to take the time, first of all, to thank Yehuda for an amazing presentation. I think of all the more than 30 communities we work with, Yehuda has gone further than anyone else in learning and mastering communication skills, from managing an amazing Facebook page to staying in personal touch with people all over the world who are interested in his community, to making these wonderful videos today and taking photos and sharing them with us. But I mean, he made those 3 videos himself, and they were extraordinary. So thank you, Yehuda, and for doing a beautiful job and for speaking so articulately. Before we say goodbye, I want to take the time to personally thank those of you who have supported Kulanu over the years. Your donations and volunteer help have meant so much to all of our communities. In these challenging times when we can't be sure what turns the economy will take, your support is needed now more than ever. Each community has immediate needs, and some of these needs are of an emergency nature. We thank you in advance for whatever you can do to ease these financial burdens. We appreciate each donor, whether you are able to donate $18 or $10,000. In each case, we hope you'll dig deep in your pocket to support Kulanu's work. Please go to kulanu.org/donate either to donate online or to learn how to donate by mail. The secure link is in the chat. You start with HTTPS in order to get to be reassured that you're on a secure link. Many thanks to all of you. If you need to leave now, thanks for joining us. If you can stay, we'll now be breaking into breakout groups to visit with each other and discuss today's presentation, or discuss how you've been involved with Kulanu and what appeals to you about our work. If one of Kulanu's staff or board members is in your group, we'll take the lead. If not, we trust that someone among you will volunteer to lead.